Have you ever loved someone so deeply that even their silence screamed louder than words? Have you ever laid awake at night, replaying every memory, every conversation, asking yourself what went wrong, what you could have done differently? If you have, then this story, my friend, is your story. This isn't just about her. It's about you, about who you can become because of her silence. Before we begin, if you've ever had your heart broken or felt the deep pain of being left behind, hit that like button. And if you're seeking to rebuild yourself with strength and purpose, subscribe to this channel. Stick around till the end, because what you're about to hear can shift the course of your entire love life. Let me tell you about a man. Not just any man. A man who was left by the one he thought he couldn't live without. A man who almost shattered, but instead transformed. And he did it the Stoic way. Let's begin with Marcus Aurelius' first timeless suggestion. 1. The obstacle is the way. It started with a message, or rather the lack of one. She had stopped replying. No calls, no texts, nothing but an ocean of silence. And for him, that silence was thunderous, louder than any argument they'd ever had. He stared at his phone like it held the key to everything he had lost. You ever been there? Refreshing a chat, reading old messages, wondering how something so warm turned so cold. She didn't say goodbye, but her silence did, and that hurt him more than he thought it would. Because it wasn't just the loss of her, it was the loss of himself in her absence. But one night, after too many glasses of wine and too many what-if thoughts, he stumbled upon a quote from Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. It hit him like a slap from reality. He realized her silence wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The obstacle was the way. He could either drown in memories or rise with meaning. And that was the first step. He put down the wine, he picked up a journal, and he started writing, not to her, but to himself. If you've ever loved someone who left you in silence, then this part is yours. What is your obstacle? Is it the pain of losing her? The regret of things unsaid? Whatever it is, that is your path. It's time to walk it. Because healing isn't about forgetting her, it's about finding you. And when he chose to transform, not chase, when he chose silence over begging, strength over desperation, he began to change. She didn't notice it at first, but the universe did, and soon so did he. 2. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. He used to stare at her last seen timestamp like it held the meaning of life. Every unread message felt like a rejection. Every hour of silence felt like 1,000 cuts. He blamed her. He blamed himself. He blamed fate. But one morning something shifted. He was scrolling through her old photos when he read another quote from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. He paused, reread it. It was simple, brutal, true. He couldn't control her, couldn't make her love him, couldn't rewrite the past. But he could master what he told himself about it. He began to retrain his mind like a warrior training for battle. He noticed every thought that crept in, the self-pity, the fantasies, the regrets. And with each thought he asked, is this helping me? Is this making me stronger or keeping me stuck? He didn't stop missing her, but he stopped letting that pain control him. He began to meditate, just 5 minutes at first, then 10, not to forget her, but to remember himself. When you're left behind, your mind becomes the battlefield. And unless you take control, it will destroy you. If you're hurting right now, if you're spiraling in what-ifs and whys, this is your call to power. She may have left, but your mind is yours. And when he chose to own that truth, something in him unlocked. He started building strength, not to win her back, but to stop needing her return as proof of his worth. Because the real victory wasn't over her silence, it was over his own mind. 3. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. He used to draft unsent messages. Long ones, short ones, angry ones, loving ones. You ever do that? Trying to find the perfect words that might make them come back. Trying to explain your side, prove your worth. Earn back love. He thought if he could just say the right thing, she'd see the man he was. But one night he read a quote from Marcus. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. It hit him deep. He was so busy trying to explain himself, he forgot to be himself. That night he deleted every draft. Not out of anger, out of clarity. He stopped trying to perform goodness and started living it. He started waking up earlier, training, reading, taking care of his family, apologizing to people he hurt. Not for attention, not for her, but for him. He realized that no message could prove his worth, only his actions could. And over time he became the man he always wanted to be, the man she once dreamed of but never waited to see bloom. If you've been spending your nights rewriting messages, chasing closure, trying to prove yourself, this is your wake-up call. Be the man. Don't just talk about him, because someday someone will see the man you became, not for love, but from it, and that speaks louder than any message ever could. 4. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. He used to think her silence meant something, that it meant he wasn't enough, that it meant she stopped loving him, that it meant he was the problem. But slowly he began to question those meanings. He started journaling every assumption he had. She doesn't care. I wasn't worthy. I failed. And next to each one he asked, is this true? He realized he didn't know why she left. Maybe she was hurting. Maybe she was confused. Maybe she was scared. But what he did know was that he didn't have to assign himself the role of the villain. He didn't have to let his story be defined by her silence. Marcus wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it." So he started changing his estimates. Instead of seeing her silence as rejection, he began to see it as redirection. Instead of seeing the end as punishment, he began to see it as permission. Permission to grow, to rebuild, to be reborn. Pain doesn't come from what happens to us. It comes from what we believe it means. And once he took control of that belief, he took control of the pain. So ask yourself, what meaning are you attaching to her silence? And what would happen if you rewrote that meaning into power? 5. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. In the beginning, he wanted her to hurt like he did. He wanted her to see what she lost. He imagined her regretting, crying, chasing, but over time that need began to feel hollow, because every time he fantasized about her regret, he was still making her the center of his life. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And although she wasn't an enemy, her actions had caused pain, so he chose not to mirror them. He chose to stay kind, honest, gentle, not for her, but because that's who he was. He stopped checking her social media, stopped talking about her with friends. He let go, not because he no longer cared, but because he cared too much about himself to keep bleeding for someone who was no longer there. He learned that real transformation isn't loud, it's quiet. It's in how you carry yourself when no one is watching. It's in how you heal without needing applause. And it's in how you walk away, not bitter but better. So if you're seeking revenge, don't. Seek refinement. Become so whole, so at peace, so fulfilled that your silence becomes the loudest answer. Because in the end, the goal isn't to make her look back. It's to make you proud to look forward. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.